Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome everyone to Satsang. While we're in this quiet, gentle place, after sitting together, notice that awareness is here. Before even your mind engages to listen to what I'm saying, notice that which is aware is here. Of course, this sense of I is always with us in the waking state. This comes from accumulated experience, from physical sensations in the body, from sight, sound, taste, touch. All of this contributes to the sense I. When we are quiet, still, we are able to notice quite clearly that awareness itself, however, doesn't require this I to be present. This I is simply the first recognition of consciousness or awareness in the waking state. This I sense is also present in the dream state, isn't it? But in the deep sleep state, this I consciousness is gone. And yet, somehow, we know as soon as the waking state arises, I slept well, I slept long, I didn't sleep long enough. So this I is related directly to the waking state, to the dream state, to the presence of consciousness in mind and in body. From this I state, this I position, me arises. The I state, in its purest form, doesn't entangle itself with a sense of me or mine. It simply is. It knows I am aware. Not I am aware of this, I am aware of that. It simply knows I am aware. Once it moves out, it becomes I am aware that I, in the personal sense, am here. As soon as it becomes aware of itself as a me or a mine, it becomes possible to know you. And once you are known, then it becomes possible to know they, the all of us. Each of these is just an indicator of the moving outward of consciousness or awareness into the world. Because this happens quite naturally, we tend to assume that this is proof that there is a me. But as I just explained to you, this me is actually a couple of steps beyond the impersonal I. What you can notice from your own experience, and I know that many of you have, is that the further you go into this experience, moving from awareness itself into I am aware, into I am aware of you, I am aware of they, I am aware of the world, the further you go, the more the tendency is for you to become entangled in whatever manifestations are there. Even though they all have their root, they all have their source in this idea of me. But once you know this, you have the key to your recognition of liberation, your recognition of yourself as the Supreme. Because you know the pathway, you know how this works, and you begin to understand that the journey of the inquiry is about turning around, no matter where you find yourself in this chain, far out into the world, or just into the recognition I am here. No matter where you find yourself in this chain, if you continue to turn through the use of the question, who am I? What is aware here? Turning in this way, you move gently, very precisely though, back up the chain into the place where you are able to drop not only the world, but the you, the they, even the experience of me, until you rest quite naturally in the direct perception, I am here. Asking the question at this moment, who am I? What is aware here? The I begins to fall away. This is the personal I which is falling away. This sense that I am the body. I am the mind, I am these thoughts, I am these emotions, I am these experiences. This is the personal I. This I begins to fall away. Sometimes very quickly, other times a little more slowly. Until finally, there is this recognition that what is here is awareness itself. Liberation, freedom, is seen. From this position, from this realization, from this recognition, it's understood. It's not a problem. It's just understood that every step into the personal brings a sort of clouding or a veiling. But each time you turn back through the inquiry to ask yourself, what is here? A small piece of this personal falls away until finally you come to realize, I am the self. Only the self is here. And you realize that everyone appearing around you is only yourself, and that every experience you have is an opportunity to know yourself, not in the personal way, but in the way of the Supreme. To know clearly, without doubt, I am that. The self alone exists. So I encourage you to keep up with the inquiry through all circumstances, all experiences, all perceptions of body and mind, to come to realize there is nothing here but the Supreme. All of this is that. All right. If this is clear to you, then I will just open this up to you. Turn on your microphone if you'd like to speak. Hello, Atmavidya.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presence and for your words. I feel there's a lot of gratitude also just to be in your presence. And I also shared with you that I get an opportunity to spend some time in Tiruvanamalai and just in a very sacred space, and I see it's a gift. That I can also see, just looking back, as how my path has been going through that. I can see this tendency in a way sometimes to run away from life and to take these gifts, these spiritual gifts, and then wanting to stay in the state, which is not a state, which is my own presence, but until now there has been always a conflict when I came back physically and tried to tune in to life, how it moves here, also responsibilities and also the beings around me. There was a feeling of wanting to procrastinate, to stay in this state, almost a spiritual egoism, and tendency not to want to take more responsibilities, but just to stay in the state of nothingness. So then it feels difficult to tune in a way, because life seems to move in a more dynamic way. So then something just wants to let go but not in this free way, but more in the state of not wanting to do anything. And even with the work I'm doing at the moment, I see that something slows down, but not in a good way. So then I just let things undone, or it just gets in a way even sloppy. So there's no discipline or focus, which I can't. It seems to be conflict. So I just I see this fear rising. But on one hand, it's my priority, self-discovery, but I can see that something just affects me in such a way that I can't move again in a way with the duties and whatever I have taken on here. And even with my family, I can see there are strong conflicts coming up and telling me that I'm egoistic again, which is touching some place here because there's a lot of love for beings, but I also sometimes I can't justify it towards myself. Why am I running away again, again and again? I just need your guidance.
The mind, you can notice, has this way, even when pursuing the heart's desire, even when achieving the heart's desire, to create conflict. And this is the nature of the personal. What I mean by this is, at any moment when you put on the filter of the personal, this is happening to me, this is what I desire, this is now happening to me, that was happening to me before. Anytime there is this me-ness, there is this filter of the personal which is happening. And this is actually points right to the foundation of the question, who am I? There isn't any doubt that we perceive this kind of conflict from the personal position. And so then you gain this opportunity to go back to Tiruvannamala, to come into your heart's longing, in a way, you can say, to come into your heart's longing. But the pull of the world is very strong still. So I would just encourage you as often as possible to remind yourself that your liberation is always here, already. What clouds that? What hides it? What masks it from you? The scriptures say what veils it. Is a forgetfulness around the question, who is experiencing this? This question can be applied whether our heart's desire is manifesting as a trip for you right at this moment back to Tiruvannamala, or whether all of this seeming difficulty around family, jobs, responsibilities, and so on is impinging upon that heart space which says, oh, yes, my heart's desire is manifesting. When this is happening, the question, to whom does this occur? To whom does this arise? Is the remedy. To be sure that you're not avoiding, quote unquote, your responsibilities and your life by running by running away, you must ask the question, who is running away? Who feels that she is running away? Who is this I that I'm referring to? Likewise, if you feel trapped by responsibilities and so on, so that you cannot free yourself into your heart's desire, you must ask, who is this I that I'm referring to when this sense of responsibility, of being trapped, is strong? Who is this I? This is the foundation of our practice. Now understand that this is the practice to deal with these kinds of issues. By dealing with the inquiry, by bringing the inquiry to bear under all circumstances, we come to see that under all circumstances we are already free. It's only when we assume the personal, assume the me position, that we struggle and suffer. If we weren't doing that, what would happen, what can happen, what does happen, is that we are always present here now. So these larger questions that you are asking don't trap us. How? By not projecting an imaginary future, projecting imaginary problems, by remaining here now in this recognition, I am here, I am aware. We are able to stay focused in the moment. So in the case of what you are talking about, where you lose track of things and things don't get done, things are left unfinished, and this concern comes up because you are getting ready to leave or you don't deal with your responsibilities at work. If you look at this in a larger way, you see that these are overarching, if you will, overarching stories which the mind is telling you, which are contributing to this sense of I and other. So I'm just encouraging you to keep coming back to here, now. If you are here now, in this moment, where are these stories? You see, the only moment that we really have is this one. When the mind takes over, it projects future, it worries about past, it stays in the present and creates all of this confusion around the personal I. Worry and concern. Am I getting it right? Am I doing it right? Am I forgetting something? All of this kind of concern is happening within the story of the personal I. But the awareness which is here, in this moment, you can notice right now, is before all of this concern. Yes? You see, there is nothing that you can do about what will happen 1 hour from now. There's nothing that you can do about what will happen tomorrow, the next day. There's nothing you can do about that. This is just the truth. The mind, of course, wants control over it. It wants everything fixed. It wants everything done properly. It wants everybody happy. It wants everyone thinking, I am wonderful. Yes? This is the activity of the me mind. It's trying to keep all these balls in the air for all these purposes directly related to supporting itself. This has nothing to do with awareness itself. This has nothing to do with the self. The self does not care whether you succeed or fail. You, the personal, doesn't care. Not interested at all. So this is very much a personal story. So we ask ourselves, how is it that we can live in the state of freedom from this sense of the personal? And this is how we keep coming back to here, to now. This place of recognition is before even the question, who am I? Or what is aware here? Awareness itself does not need even to have this question, does it? If you never say another word in your own mind, you never question anything in your environment, you never make any story out of anything that's happening, you will still be aware. This awareness is foundational. This is why we are always saying, come back here, remain now. By doing this, then you are able to respond, not react. You see, there's a difference between responding to life itself as it's unfolding around us, in us, through us, and reacting. The mode that you described is a reactive mode because it's always bouncing back and forth between, I want the quiet of my own being, the spiritual life that I desire, my heart's desire, and I want to be a participant in the world. I want to give something. I want to share with people. I want to be a support. But this is really just the mind reacting to imaginary places, thoughts, situations, people. It's not, all of this is a distraction in the here and now. The only moment you can ever live in is this one. So I encourage you, despite whatever the mind throws up about what's happening, what you think is happening, what's not happening, what you wish could happen, I encourage you just to be here now. That means you deal with the silence of your own being when it's here and that opportunity is here, whether it's there where you are or it's in Tiruvanamalai. When the silence of being is here, embrace that. Be full, present, aware, in that, as that. When other things are going on, you're interacting with people, you have work to do, and so on. Don't get caught up in the me-ness of this situation. If you remain as you are, here, now, then the work flows quite naturally. Why? Because it's not interfered with by this reactive mind. The body then becomes the vehicle and the instrument, both for your awakening or the recognition of your awakened state and the participation in whatever work, relationships, and so on are there for you.
I see there's just some arrogance of this doership which comes up. So then it's not me doing anything.
Very good. Very good.
The energy which is coming to anything, it can't be done if it's not coming from a higher source. But then so much of this grabbing onto doing or contributing.
Yes.
I just feel to say it's just arrogance of the mind.
Yes.
So
Is there any sense in you? Is there any sense in you at all that life has a plan which it is unfolding, using you quite naturally, that you don't need to take an interest in?
The more I let go of this thing of doership, the more I see it's just all set.
Yes. Life is just happening.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Yes, then continue in this way. Absolutely.
Just feel to surrender this doer and
Yes.
controller.
Yes.
The one who is responsible, just to give it up because it's not.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid that if you stop doing, that life will stop being?
I can see there is a strong conditioning that anything is
Very
just,
good.
I have to see it, look at it, that this doing and work, it's effort, it's something I have to see.
Yes, but the question still remains, who is the doer? Whose effort is it? And you're touching on it now, right? It is just the manifestation, the flow, the beauty of life itself. This is not my energy. This is the energy of life itself.
Yes.
Once you recognize this, once this fully becomes your place of being in the world, then you can dance with whatever dances there is to do. You're free of it. You see, you're not bound by the dance. In the place that you're still waffling back and forth, you are bound by the dance, whether the dance is the dance of your heart to be in Tiruvanamalai, or the dance is the dance of your apparent life, which is around work and family and so on. So You just have to keep coming back to this place of understanding that, and you have it, you said it. Yeah? This is not mine. The fact that it is happening is not proof that it is mine. It is just the proof that life itself is here and this dance is going on.
Thank you so much.
So be here now and dance. This is it. So simple. Very direct. Be here now and dance.
Thank you so much.
Please do remember, all of you, that now is not a period of time. Now is only this. This. I cannot say, I will be here now until Tuesday. I can only say, I am here now. That moment is gone. Once again, I am here now. That moment is gone. I am here now. That moment is gone. Do you see where I'm pointing? This veiling quality that's talked about in the scriptures is simply this tendency, this conditioning, you called it Atmavidya, this conditioning, this tendency to leap forward into an imagined future, to leap backward into a remembered past, or to aggregate all the moments of now, to bring together all the moments of now into a solid present. This is why it's said past, present, future don't exist. Why? Because this is a tendency in mind to establish time, to say what happened a moment ago is the past, what happens in the next moment is the future, what is happening now is the present, which is not really true. We cannot define now by what the experience is in this moment to the body and mind. When we do that, we try to lock it down. We try to get control over it. We try to get it to stay, to become something solid. But all of you know this is just fallacy. This is not the truth. As soon as you try to lock down the now, which is ever present as a solid mass of consciousness, which has moving pieces within it, as soon as you try to lock that down, you begin to suffer. Because you begin to relate to your experience as though it is you are a me, and this is happening to me. You lose touch with the recognition that you are the freedom in which all of this is arising. And whatever this is, it is not me. All of this is life itself. And I am the dancer in the midst of this. If I am anything at all, I am the dancer. But this I is not the personal I. This is the I which recognizes, we can say, pristine awareness, or awareness which is before the personal. It still has this complex feeling of I-ness to it. But it's not an I-ness which defines itself according to gender, age, financial status, job, so on. It's an I-ness which is recognized to be that which is aware in this moment. This is pristine awareness. So one thing I would like to say to finish up with you, Atmavidya, is just to say when you are in transition, and this is for all of you to hear, but when you are in transition like this, which is a big transition, there's lots involved, lots of people, many things to take care of, many miles to travel, this kind of thing. When you're involved in this kind of a transition, best not to overthink it. Just do one step at a time. This is the way to remain here now. Do what you can, the best you can, step by step, while allowing the transition to happen. Don't struggle with it too much. Some of it you will look good in, some of it you will not look so good. This has to also be okay. Just flow with it as best you can, because you will learn from all of the experiences, so there are no mistakes that can be made. Keep this in mind and just continue to let everything go. Let everything flow. Dance with it. You will always be directed in the way that you need to go, even when it appears uncomfortable, even when it appears chaotic. You are always being guided by your intention to be aware and awake. You don't get to control the circumstances of how that happens. Stay with your intention to know yourself as being, consciousness and bliss, and trust everything that comes your way.